Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is DauT versus Dogao second quarterfinals for the qualification to Red Bull Wololo 3. The winner of this series gets into the main event of Red Bull Wololo 3. We'll have DauT versus Dogao fighting against each other. DauT picking Frigid Lake, Eruption, and Winged as his home map. Haboob, Atacama, and Acclivity will be the home maps of Dogao. And civilization selection-wise, we will have a Magyar snipe from DauT. That's an interesting decision with a Frank snipe. So I assume that these were the saves that were meant to be used on Haboob, and they are just afraid of that map, or they just don't want to play or have their opponent have their strong cavalry civ over there. Hans is going to be an interesting civ to take a look at for Dogao. Teutons will also be super interesting to look at. And there is the Turks pick that we have seen already. Could be a very, very good civilization for multiple maps, to be honest, as a kind of an archer counter type of a civ. We'll see how that shapes out over there for DauT. But anyways, let's see. Robo just said right in this moment that the game started, so basically timing was perfect here. We will jump into game number 1 in a moment, and we will have 2 minutes of spectator delay right now. It is Vikings versus Chinese over here. So Vikings for DauT, one of the strongest, if not the strongest Empire War civs, and he also has Aztecs. I feel like DauT having Aztecs here is an enormous steal this late. Saracens, Aztecs, Ethiopians, Vikings, these 4 are insanely good civs, and I love Khmer as well. So I would probably say DauT has won this draft. Chinese isn't a bad civ, but they will somewhat struggle against the early Imperial Age of Vikings. I think that what Dogao has to play for is a heavy focus on like maybe Camel and Skirm and aggressive Castle Age. Because he can't afford to let Vikings boom into Imperial, because in Imperial, like, Vikings will be Chinese to Imperial no matter what. And the Arbalests and Siege Drams is not something he's going to be able to defend against. So I actually love DauT's draft a lot better here. Not sure what Dogao's plans are with these civs. He's got good civs, but DauT has excellent civs, if you ask me. So that's why I'm thinking that, in my perspective, DauT has won this draft by a considerable margin. So both these players have actually played, I think, in both Red Bull Vololos, but since they didn't reach the top 8 in the previous event, they are not invited automatically. DauT would be the 3rd member of Gamer Legion to participate in the main event of Red Bull Wololo 3. Viper and Taro are invited players, and Jordan failed to qualify this qualifiers. Nili, unfortunately, wasn't able to play in this qualifiers, and Slam messed up the signups for the qualifiers. So DauT is the only hope of GL to have any player from this qualifiers getting into the main event. There is still a next qualifiers next week, so there's a chance for other GL members to participate as well. Anyways, Dogao is playing Chinese on right side. In yellow, left side is going to be DauT as Vikings in red. And we are going to have something that is relatively unique from Vikings, and not something that's unprecedented in Empire Wars. An archer civ going for scouts. And the reason why you're doing this is because oftentimes the other player opens up with skirmishers to battle the archers. Against obvious archer civs, you open up with skirmishers. And DauT goes for a stable opening over here. So this is actually a build order that I want to publish on my YouTube at some time. So I'll be working with some expert players together to showcase some other build orders with my narration and explanation on the builds and probably their execution. And one of the builds is basically a scout's play, or like a probably scout into knight and then back into archer type of a build for non-scout civilization or non-knight civilizations. Anyways, DauT is gonna have Vikings, so he doesn't have to be super aggressive. he can just make sure he doesn't die, and his economy is going to be much better than the opponent's eco. He's got Horseclaw already, he's got Wheelbarrow, of course, because he gets it for free, and he's got Double Bit Axe as well. And since there is no Spearman accompanying those archers for Dogao, this should be an easy pick-off for DauT over here. DauT, I'm gonna get his villagers pushed on the wood line, though, and DauT doesn't have the scouts over here. This is weird. If DauT had the scouts over here, he could actually kill the archers. The idea was good from DauT, the execution not so much. He loses one villager to the archers. Not a great start for DauT in this one. But honestly, it's a mistake from Dogao that he didn't send the spearman with those archers, because normally what should have happened is that if DauT has 2 scouts here, those 2 archers are just history. Anyways, both players will be fully bold, but this once again is benefiting the Viking player by a massive margin, because the weakest spot of Vikings in Empire Wars is their feudal age. Their feudal age isn't particularly special, and when their eco isn't that huge, it's not like they can actually get a massive numbers advantage over you. So that's where they're really the most vulnerable, and as the game progresses and they get the free handcard and their farming eco starts to kick in as well because of that, they will just be much better. And apparently we're gonna have scouts and skirms most likely, but the slow transition back into crossbows will eventually happen for DauT over here. Dogao is fully walled, very nice walls for himself. This goldmine is a little bit exposed, which could be troublesome in the future. And for whatever reason, DauT didn't actually wall this, and that could be a disaster for DauT. There is some archers in here, but not an awful lot. So if Dogao keeps the spearman alive, which he has a good chance to do, the scouts from DauT will not be able to accomplish much. And honestly, this is looking pretty bad for DauT right now. His scouts aren't doing anything right now. And that's a mass migration from a wood line. As I said, Vikings, the most exposed in feudal age. And I'm not even sure that DauT is going to have better castle age anymore than Dogao does. Indeed, I'm not sure how much warm-up games DauT has done, because if I remember right, Viper was casting games. Nilly was casting games. I think Taro was as well. I think it's early for Slam, and I think Jordan was also streaming. So I don't think any of the GIA members actually played warm-up games with DauT. He might have played against someone else, but I don't think that he actually did. Maybe he played some warm-up games against AI or something, but the thing is that maybe even he played some warm-up games in random map, but random map is so different from Empire Wars that warm-up games there will not actually help you in Empire Wars. So you specifically have to warm up with Empire Wars to get a start. He practiced with Fire. Maybe he did, but I'm not sure if Fire had any motivation of playing after Eliminated in the Morning. Because remember that Fire got beaten by Winchester. The next quarterfinals we're going to see has Winchester involved in there. DauT cleans this up, but if you look at the eco numbers now, it's not so great. Of course, there is no wheelbarrow for Dogao, but Dogao is going to have a better castle age time and a 6 wheel lead. This is like a net of 7.5 wheels. If you subtract the handcart advantage DauT is going to have in castle age, that adds up to be about a villager lead right now for Dogao. So basically, all the eco advantage that DauT had from Vikings is gone. He is not dead by any means, especially when he gets up to castle age and gets free handcart. But all the eco advantage, basically, the entire thing that the Vikings build their strategy on is gone. These scouts could also get picked off over here, but Dogao needs to make sure he doesn't lose his archers though, because there are quite a lot of skirmishers on the field, +1/+1 for both players. In here, castle age time will be slightly better for Dogao, and DauT is gonna go for scale botting, probably just to try and fight this one, but he might actually end up going for knights here. But I think it's already a win if you can force the Viking player to go knights, and it kind of seems like it's gonna be a knight and skirm play from DauT, but Chinese super versatile civilization. I just love this situation for Dogao right now. I think that he's in a much better spot, and he's probably very happy with that as well. Holds the hill until he gets the upgrades in, and he prioritizes Elite Skirm over Botkin Arrow, interestingly. So he thinks that his opponent is going to go for Elite Skirm as well, and he wants to be able to match that. He could actually get Botkin as well. Why is he not getting Botkin? Okay, now there it is. And I feel like now Dogao's eco is actually just as good as DauT's eco, if not better. And that's a dream scenario against Vikings. Vikings have the strongest Empire Wars eco in the game by a massive margin, so being able to match their eco and maybe even have better, it's just great. So, as I said, 7 villagers difference, handcart accounts for 6. So if Dogao starts researching handcart, or first wheelbarrow of course, but then handcart, he's gonna end up with 1 less villager than DauT. Truth being told, the thing is that DauT's base actually was very hard to wall. I feel like it was too greedy to wall all the way around like this. Should have been something like this, and then defensive tower here and wall like this. This is too much walling, and he had to put a lot of effort into it. Anyways, this is entire army from Dogao. Here comes some knights, no +2 defense, but not a lot of crossbows on the field either. This is actually a good fight for DauT. Dogao is trying to focus down the knights, which is basically the higher priority unit right now, and those guys only have +1 defense and no bloodlines, so I think that Dogao gets the most out of this fight, but this was the first moment where DauT actually had a good moment, and this is really the first fight that was actually really favoring DauT. The thing is, however, that if DauT is heavy on the skirmishers, Dogao is just gonna mix in his own knights, and Chinese are just much better than that. Like, their army translates into Imperial much better if they're going for cavalry than Vikings' army does. And also, DauT is playing 1 TC, Dogao is already on 2 TCs, still no wheelbarrow, but I feel like all the eco advantage DauT had is gone, and probably it's even worse. Military numbers, slightly better for Dogao as well. One thing to point out is that DauT doesn't have a very safe wood line other than this one, but that's the only safe wood line, and that's saturated with villagers, so it's not gonna be easy to find a second wood line to work with. It looks like DauT is going to commit to full elite skirm play here. He was only 1 range up until to this point, but he's getting overrun by superior numbers of elite skirms and crossbows. So this is the moment where if he goes for full elite skirm play, Dogao is just gonna be saying, okay, fine, I'm gonna play knights now. And the thing is that if you look at DauT, he's got a safe stone, but he's not mining it, so he's going to stay on 1 TC for quite a while. Whereas for Dogao, he's got 10 villagers lead right now, soon with wheelbarrow. So now it's obvious eco lead for Dogao, and that is going to be indeed the double stable switch from Dogao, and that's gonna be pretty scary for DauT. DauT trying to get a third range out, but this is the moment when Dogao can just go skirms and knights, most likely maybe with a siege workshop as well. If you look at the idle times, it also shows why DauT is behind. Like, this panel shows everything that you need to know about the game. DauT 5 villagers lost, 0 killed. Dogao 5 villagers killed, 0 lost. 9 minutes of idle time for Dogao, 18 for DauT. And DauT also had 2 minutes of TC idle time, only 1 minute for Dogao here. No +2 defense for Dogao. +2 is there for DauT though on those skirms, but not on the cavalry, so they're super exposed to arrow fire. And it looks like Dogao is gonna do a triple stable knight switch. I believe he's going to try and not show that army until he has like 8-10 knights, and then try to just take one decisive fight over his opponent. And it looks like DauT is switching back to crossbows. Now, you shouldn't sleep on Vikings here, because a Viking 1 TC imp from DauT could still be something that could completely devastate Dogao. So 1 TC imp Arbalest may be able to swing the battle back in the favor of DauT, but obviously he has little hope to catch up in terms of economy, with Dogao already being on 3 TCs. Knights trying to bash their way in here, but skirmishers will be caught off guard, and those are already +2 knights, soon with bloodlines, and I feel like DauT's army here is just gonna go down. I don't see this army being able to survive at all. There's just no power that, like, there's nothing that really kills knights over here. DauT, just +1 defense, no bloodlines, so the best thing that DauT can do here is exactly what he's doing. Try to use the skirms to focus down the crossbows. That's the only thing that he can do here. And I think DauT is doing it nicely. Given the circumstances, this is a good fight for DauT. Obviously, he's still going to get smashed and lost a lot of army, but he got the most out of this fight. That still doesn't change the fact that Dogao is now going to press on here, and DauT could be in large trouble because he's going back to crossbows. So Dogao can keep adding elite skirms here, and he might. DauT getting some more eco upgrades in here for himself, but Dogao is still going to have the eco lead no matter what. TC number 2 will also mean that DauT is not going to be clicking up to Imperial anytime soon. That's a mistake, or Not necessarily a mistake, but that's something that's going to be problematic for him in the long run. Because he's going to be free TCs, but that means that he's going to have the same amount of TCs as his opponent, but way less villagers. He's going to be consuming all the food he's getting to making vills, and that means he's not going to get to Imperial. And Dogao is going to do the exact same thing, just with more vills. So, Siege Workshop is already in here, and let's see, Dogao seems like he wants to commit to this fight, and let's see if he can get a good engagement over here. He's got a lot of elite skirms in the party, and DauT could actually try to find a narrow choke point over here. There is a Siege Workshop, Mangonel is on the way for DauT. Those knights are still not great at soaking up any kind of damage, whereas Dogao's knights are just much better. And once again, it looks like Dogao is taking a decisive engagement over here. Mangonel is still a far and distant dream for DauT here. And Dogao is doing an excellent job just focusing down those archers. Some knights will actually die to TC fire here, but the value that Dogao is getting is insane. He's cleaning up the entire army of DauT. There's a Mangonel inside here, trying to pop out. Gets a nice ground attack in, but the Mangonel is low HP. Can DauT get another good ground attack? Sort of. But he's gonna end up losing that Mangonel, I believe. So, at the end of the day, this was still worth it for Dogao, who is gonna get his own Mangonels. And he was able to destroy the majority of DauT's army. And if you look at the ecos, it is just fairly obvious that Dogao is gonna have an easier time replenishing his army. That being said, considering that his opponent is heavy on archers, it is sort of a mistake from him not having the +2 defense upgrade at this point on those skirmishers, because that would have been an even better fight for him had he got that upgrade, and that's a huge mistake from Dogao, enormous mistake. That Mangonel being left alone is going to allow DauT to pop out a knight and get that Mango kill. That was beautiful from DauT, and that's a huge mistake from Dogao. Here comes the +2 defense right now for him. Alongside a Mangonel, you could make an argument for a battering ram, because I think you can start ramming these buildings down, because the Mangonel would not really be able to kill this one behind. And instead, Dogao is going to drop a castle in the face of his opponent. This is a castle that is going to go up, and remember that DauT doesn't have a lot of wood to work with. These wood lines are pretty bad. Like this and this one is actually reasonable, but these are bad. This is running out, this is running out, this is denied, and this one's going to get denied by the castle. So that castle over there in the face of DauT could cause a lot of trouble for DauT, and I feel like Dogao is not thinking about Imperial, he's thinking about finishing off the game in Castle Age. That's kind of getting close to a critical mass of knights. Mangonel versus Mangonel ends up being a 1-for-1, but that's a huge amount of knights, something that can start killing TCs as well. DauT understands that this is over. I think this was over when DauT lost 5 villagers in Feudal Age to these pushes. Well, maybe it wasn't completely over, but that basically meant that he will probably fall behind an eco. And Dogao capitalized on his eco advantage and just overrun DauT with better numbers. Nicely done by Dogao, who is also a good candidate to get into the main event. And this is one of the sad matchups in this qualifier, I believe, because both of these players deserve to be in the main event. Both of these players were in the previous main events as well. Yet only one of them will qualify this week, and the other one is going to have to fight next week as well. So, 72 kills from Dogao, 51 deaths, but if you look at the ecos, it kind of speaks for itself. 102 villagers against 78, and really, the amount of villas DauT lost, and that's the problem. That's the problem that pretty much crippled him for the majority of the game, or at least put him behind. And when you're playing Vikings, you build on your stronger eco. And that's not something that DauT was able to build on. Because, well, he lost the villagers early on. I think he went for a little bit ambitious wars. He had a quite bad map, but that doesn't change the fact that he got a lot of villagers picked off at the beginning. Alright, so Vikings, their first defeat in the qualifiers among the tracked games. Adiko Games, I think, is gathering the stats. I wonder, I actually have a question regarding that. Is it actually the first overall loss, or I don't think it is. Or are all the games tracked, or only, like, let's say since round of 64? So are the very, very beginner players that played in the first round are also tracked? Because I feel like Vikings can totally lose on those matchups. Okay, from 32 and up, yeah, that makes sense. So from 32 and up, round of 32 and up, it means that we have mostly good players or higher level players playing, and indeed the first time Vikings lose in this qualifiers. This is one of the strongest civs in the game, but it's not impossible to lose with them. Really, not gonna lie, the thing is that DauT had a bad map for Vikings. Vikings need a well-vulnerable and defendable map because, as I said, they're most vulnerable in Feudal Age, and basically the damage on DauT was done in Feudal. Everything else is just the snowball effect after it. Alright, Chinese is gone for Dogao, and now we're gonna go to the first home map of DauT, which could be either Frigid Lake, Eruption, or Winged. Isn't Dogao usually an archer civ guy? He's very cav civ. Dogao is like an everything. Like, Dogao is a very, very good all-around player. It's not like he is specifically good with anything. So, like, for example, Leary and Hera probably are a little bit better with archers than scouts. That being said, they're both insane with scouts as well. I'm just saying that, like, if you have seen Leary's archer micro, it's fairly obvious that Leary probably prefers to play with archers compared to cavalry. Whereas for Dogao, he's all around, so he doesn't have a flashy archer micro nor a flashy knights play. It's more about a very, very balanced player. Like, Dogao is one of the most consistent players out there who's playing. Kind of performs at the same level for years now. Always very consistent no matter the maps, no matter the civilizations. Does a lot of preparation as well. And we're going to Frigid Lake, ladies and gentlemen. On Frigid Lake, we'll have a Khmer versus Byzantines matchup. So why Khmer here? It's because you're going to see that you cannot build farms right next to your town center. So you are picking Khmer to avoid this problem. You start with a pond here, you actually have some shorefish you will gather. But at the end of the day, you are picking Khmer here because you will need to farm here and you don't want to spam mills around. Other side, Byzantines is an interesting idea from Dogao. The reason why you pick Byzantines, I believe, is because you want to make sure you win the war in the middle, which gives you a lot of map control and potentially fishing opportunity as well. Now, Dogao's map is flat out awful for this. Frigid Lake, in 90% of the cases, is a well-vulnerable map. In this case, it's actually very bad for Dogao. He's gonna be able to protect that gold mine from this side, and it's a beautiful wall. But it's going to be awfully hard to defend that gold mine. Also, this isn't a great Brack spawn for him. So, he's really unlucky with the map generation over here, and DauT is coming in here to punish him. That villager could actually get picked off. Spearman is out. Yeah, DauT doesn't want to overcommit, which is fine. DauT is going for scouts here, and he already has some scouts out. Dogao is going to have a delayed archer play over here, but opens with a spearman, gets a nice hit on top of that scout, and now he's going to go for archers. Gets housed for a brief moment, not something that he wanted to do, and the villager here is fighting with apparently a bear. Still, it looks like Dogao is gonna have control over the middle, because DauT doesn't seem like he wants to contest that. I think that could actually end up being a mistake, because if Dogao has an easy fishing eco here, that's gonna compensate for Byzantines having a weaker eco than Khmer do. Let's see, there is obviously a hole over here for Dogao, something that he's about to plug in right now. It would have been much better for him to wall it off here, but I assume that he doesn't know about that forest. It's still better to wall here, but I feel like it's ambitious, and it probably is risky. So it's much safer to wall like this, and he's going to fix these later on. He's gonna wall here at some point. That being said, Relic being part of your wall, we have seen that that isn't really something that's super duper safe. In case you haven't seen that video, check out on Dave's YouTube. And there's actually a hole here. There's a hole. Scouts will get inside. Spearman gets one poke in, but apparently this villager didn't do all the palisade foundations. So that's gonna be a little bit annoying for Dogao now. That being said, he's actually using a fire galley to do damage to buildings here, and he could actually start burning down at archer range, which would be very annoying for DauT. DauT running into TC fire. Oh boy, disaster for DauT. That's full disaster. He had a good chance to get some villager kills, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon here, and he's gonna end up losing that scout. I don't think he killed any villagers, and indeed that's the case. Dogao is going very, very passive over here, so he's just massing archers back at home. I have a feeling that he wants to go for an early castle age here, and now that he has water control, he's just gonna go for fishing eco. The fishing eco is gonna need some time until it actually starts kicking in. And this villager is low HP because of the bear that attacked before, but still, DauT doesn't have a high enough HP scout over there to take that fight. Let's see if Dogao is gonna try sniping that Vil. He probably won't because his own scout is very low as well. And I think Dogao is a little bit surprised that DauT is not contesting the water. But that's a mistake for many reasons. First of all, that's a nice raid from DauT, by the way, but Dogao can clean that up relatively easily with skirms and archers. Remember, the skirms and spears are cheaper for Dogao, and DauT is coming in to contest the water now. It appears that Dogao is going to spot that, so DauT is going to have to escort the villager in. Byzantine fire guys do a lot more damage, but DauT apparently is going to be able to get a foothold going for himself. Remember that DauT doesn't really want to lose this archer range, but eventually he will if he doesn't contest the water at all, because his opponent is just going to burn it down. And, well, I like that Dogao didn't actually panic and send his entire army back home to defend against that two archers. He just sends one skirmisher and cleans this up, and now he's pushing into the base of DauT here. Cheaper skirms helping immensely, let's not forget that. Spearmen are going down, so some scouts from DauT could actually help clean this one up. But I feel like this is already decent damage done once again on DauT's base. Villager kills, though, 0. And honestly, Dogao has a lot more idle time on his Vils. Not sure what happened here for Dogao, but he ends up picking off a villager over here. This is the first villager kill. That's actually very important, because that was the repair villager of DauT. So, DauT is not going to be able to repair fire galleys, which is already a huge deficit, but he's also up against Byzantines that have better fire galleys. So I feel like Dogao is going to control the pond very, very easily over here. He doesn't get any benefit from it though, and that's something to pay attention for. So, no fishing eco whatsoever, and Dogao is very, very heavy on skirmishers, but he has to be careful, because DauT could just make some scouts and kill him with that, or DauT could go straight into Castle Age and progress towards Knights. Let's see, does DauT have a demo ship? No, DauT doesn't have demos over here. And the Spear and Skirm play could actually work out, but it depends on micro here for Dogao. His eco isn't shining, so it's Byzantines, not the best eco in the world, but it's actually good enough, I would say. If his eco was a little bit more balanced, he would also be close to picking up the Castle Age. And DauT making a demo raft right now, the problem is that those fire galleys will pop out before the demo raft would hit, so it's not really going to do a lot. And look at that. Dogao is using his fire galley to finish off that scout. Demos get a nice connection, and honestly, DauT, he was patient, and that is going to reward him. There's a demo raft coming in as well. Remember, there is no repair villager for DauT over there. Demo gets decent but not perfect hit over there. Skirmishers trading against each other, and as I said, Castle Age is going to be much better for DauT because his eco is a little bit more balanced, and you have to keep this in mind. That being said, this fire galley is also going to be just history alongside this one as well. So at the end of the day, Dogao still seems to be in a slightly better spot to contest Ditto, but once DauT gets the war galley upgrade in, he could actually do significant damage to these fire ships and probably win the battle. As it is, I don't know what this villager is doing over here, just sitting back chilling. I think this Vil was actually taking some fish here, which is reasonable because villager can drop off that fish at the dock, and you will need that villager to do some fishing as well, or repairs as well. Dogao, however, 1.5 minutes deficit going into Castle Age, which is gonna hurt quite badly because DauT still has his docks up, and he's gonna be able to get some more fire galleys out and go for fire ships. So I think that Dogao will need to try and, you know, finish off those docks. This villager could go down relatively easily over here. Dogao's gonna have to try and fight that, and there's 3 fire galleys coming in to help out, but this villager for now is safe. That's an early war galley though. DauT comes back trying to snipe that villager. Wanna see Knight versus Demo? Watch the previous series. From the WOD. Anyways, that's the war galley dock, but I think that war galley is going to finish before the dock goes down. Yes, it will. Now, the problem for DauT is that it doesn't have a lot of ships here. And if this dock starts to be in flames. This fire galley is gonna get popped out before the upgrade would kick in, just like that. But yeah, Dogao is gonna have a hard time dealing with this one. He has a very unbalanced eco, and because of that, he's delayed going into Castle Age. That's not great for Dogao. That being said, DauT doesn't have a lot of ships, which buys some time for Dogao over here. And remember that one thing that we should never underestimate in the case of Dogao is that he's Byzantines, which means that his Imperial Age could be sick. War Galley is gonna come in very soon. A Demo Raft is perfect here for Dogao. He needs to use a Demo Raft to force the opponent's fire ships back here and buy himself some time. Not a great demo. And there's a demo ship coming in here as well. Dogao is in trouble, as I said. His Castle Age was kind of low, but that is a beautiful Demo Raft shot. Demo ship! Demo ship! Oh, Dogao! Like, you should look at this demo hit as one that could actually end the game. Like, this Demo Raft hit, or Demo ship hit for Dogao over there, basically meant that he lost the water. One demo. Of course, maybe he would have lost it anyways, but this basically guaranteed this. Like, he's gonna try and get back into this one, but it's not going to be easy. So DauT takes control over the middle. There is some crossbows coming in here from Dogao, trying to get some damage done, but just a few straggler crossbows without Botkin will get picked off by DauT. And as good as Dogao was playing in the first game, I feel like Dogao is playing kind of potato here. Like, he had a very, very unbalanced eco, and that delayed his Castle Age so bad. In a hybrid map, you can't actually afford to be very late to Castle Age. Now, that being said, if he gets this demo in, he could still turn things around. He's repairing that dock, and this Voyager is not something that you can kill because you can't actually fire over palisade walls. And the crossbows are also helping, by the way. That wasn't a very efficient demo for Dogao, and it seems like he might be able to have a shot at taking this back, partially because he's got the Byzantine fire galleys, fire ships, that actually attack faster, and that helps immensely at winning water fights. There are some knights running around, not really doing much. These skirms are being so annoying for Dogao, I believe. He might even lose Voyagers to these skirms. I wonder how long these guys have been harassing him. But he's got double the idle time compared to his opponent, so I assume there was quite a lot of harassment being done by these guys. Dogao isn't focusing down the low HP demo ships, so once again he is losing numbers, and DauT has 3 docks, Dogao only has 2. But keep in mind, as I said, Dogao is now on 3 TCs, DauT is playing with 3 as well. Honestly, DauT is leaving the... How is DauT's Voyager count this high? I mean, Dogao's dead. This game is over, guys. I mean, DauT is somehow 18 Voyagers ahead. He has the edge at winning the water. He has the save that has the much more efficient eco. Dogao has 9 military. What is Dogao going to do to stop DauT? Nothing. This is the equalizer here. A demo... That's actually a trade that's worth it. Demo, taking on a mangonel. So, like, even if Dogao wins the water, let's say, he is still 20 Voyagers behind. Well, it's just... Yeah, it's 20, basically. So, there's like very little chance for him actually being able to influence this game by any means. The only thing I could imagine here now is like being able to get to Imperial fast. Like, I honestly would have been okay with like trying to get to Imp fast and with 1 TC and go for Arblast and hope that it actually saves you. But at this point, Dogao kind of has to start praying. That being said, DauT is investing a lot into the fishing geek or the push in the middle. And when that palisade wall goes down, this Voyager is gonna be exposed to the fire coming from these fire galleys. So, when this goes down, this Voyager is gonna die. Nice demo hit again from Dogao, but he only has 1 dock left, so I don't think he has enough juice to take the water back. Yes, DauT had 3 TCs earlier, but it's not just the 3 TCs earlier for DauT. DauT has 36 on food, insane food eco. Dogao has 19. 19 on food isn't enough to keep 3 TCs working. This game is completely over. So we're just seeing Dogao. I think that Dogao doesn't know how much behind he is. If he looked at this game, like let's say if he's going to look at the recorded games from this one, he's going to say, look, this game is over. And this game was over when that demo ship sunk 4 fire galleys. 4 fire galleys that would have actually had a chance to contest the war. And now DauT is going to further increase his eco lead. Multiple stables coming in. DauT is going to click Imperial here. This is just so clean from DauT. As bad as the first game was from DauT, this is very clean. And as good as the first game was from Dogao, this is pretty bad from him. So, it looks like first game was a disaster for DauT and great for Dogao. Now this is the other way around. Like, Dogao isn't even close to clicking Imp. Look at DauT. 42 on food. And he's just gonna overrun his opponent with cavalry raids at this point. Dogao is trying to get a castle up here to take the water back, but I am fairly convinced that when the DauT reaches Imperial, Dogao is just going to say, okay, this is over. Just look at how unbalanced Dogao's ecos is. This is what I don't understand. He's not playing good in this game. He's floating 2k wood with 44 on food. Like, he's probably very, very heavy in the ship micro department, but his eco is extremely unbalanced. And the first thing that actually pushed him into this hole was that eco unbalance. The fact that he was having a slightly unbalanced eco, and he was able to, or he was late into castle age because of that. He was late to castle, he lost the water fight, and the game just snowballs out of control right now. DauT is like, what, 5 TCs, 6, who knows? And he's gonna have cavalry coming in, and Dogao just sold all his wood, and he's gonna try to buy himself up to Imperial. But he's gonna be behind by 2 minutes, and he's nowhere close to actually fielding any sort of army. He sees the stables, he probably knows there is going to be light cav raids coming, and what Dogao can do is get camels for himself. But I feel like Dogao is just going to die to the light cav halberdier push of DauT. Because, like, he won't really have the eco to do, like, camel arb, let's say. So, ballistics is in for DauT. I wonder what for. He doesn't have archers, so I assume it can only be for the war galleys. And he's gonna try and drop a castle here, probably, and start trapping that castle. Now, that's a Byzantine castle, so it's going to take quite a lot of punishment before it goes down. And here come the light cav. Those are apparently without husbandry for DauT, but +4 defense comes in first. Not a fight you want to take against one camel, but I mean, it might still be something that you are okay with. And this is the problem that Dogao is gonna face. Just endless flood of light cavalry, basically. That's going to be the story of this game here. And I don't know how Dogao can stop that. He can actually go camels, but this is the moment where DauT can just mix in halberdiers. And he's gonna be perfectly fine with that. Dogao is still holding, and he's getting archer upgrades. Is he gonna hold this one with camels and crossbows? Not gonna lie, it would be an insane comeback if Dogao somehow managed to crawl back into this one, but let's not forget, Byzantines is a very, very good defensive civ. And Camel and Arbalest is something that, you know, DauT might actually struggle against. And it's not like DauT has huge military numbers, it's 23 army right now. He's getting the stables up, but it's 4 stables only right now for him. It's not really a light cav spam. And the value, like the individual value of Dogao's units are much larger than it is for DauT. DauT has a crazy eco, but if you look at the populations, is it that decisive of an advantage? That castle can be repaired for some time if you're Dogao, and there's the heavy camel play. Heavy camel, forging. The question is, what is Dogao going to do to stop that trebuchet, because he can't just go in and snipe it, there's war galleys around. Bombard cannon could work, but he doesn't have chemistry. This castle is beautiful, preventing the light cav from running inside and protecting the food eco. So, what is Dogao up to? Is he... Yeah, I think he's gonna try and snipe that demo, or that trap. He kinda has to. He's waiting for the upgrades to come in a little bit early here, but he gets it done. And now it is DauT going into Arbalest. So how is Dogao going to fight that? I guess he's gonna make his own Arbs and Skirms The question is how far he is in the tech switch, and the answer is like none. DauT has Bracer, DauT has +1 defense, Dogao has Botkin Arrow and no defense upgrade. So a quick Arbalest switch from DauT could actually potentially win the game for him here, and that's the other problem that you're facing, Khmer. It's really just an infinite flood of Hussars, and as much as Dogao was prepared for the raids coming from this side, he's unprepared for the raids from this side, and this is going to cripple his entire eco. In such a fight, especially against Khmer, you can't afford to have this many idols. Look at this, this is still crossbows with Botkin, and while Dogao was fixing his eco, DauT finishes off that army. Basically, two bad moves from Dogao. The unbalanced eco in Feudal meant that he got delayed in Castle Age and lost those fire galleys. He fell behind because of that, and the second bad move was that he was completely unprepared for this push. But I have seen Dogao play better, and when he looks at the recording, he will look back at his Feudal Age and say, look, this wasn't good. And indeed it wasn't. DauT, on the other hand, played super clean, and after a scary first game for him, I feel like he is now warmed up and ready to go. He really wants to qualify over here. Next week, it's going to be much harder to qualify because there's a bunch of other players, other very high-level players that missed out on this qualifier. So it's really going to be hard to qualify. So it is basically extremely important for both of these players, because there is no guarantees they can qualify next week. There is going to be a lot more competition, and if you just have a bad day in a fast-paced game mode like this, you make one or two bad moves and you're out of the tournament. So you really have to be sharp, and it's much harder to really get to the main event when the competition is a lot higher. Even if Dogao is going to be the favored player against the majority of the players he's going to be up against in the future, if let's say if he doesn't qualify this week, he's going to be favored against the majority of the players he's going to face next week. But this is a game mode where a lot of surprises can happen, as we have seen. So because of that, you really have to value all opportunities to get into the main event. So far, you can see that both players are focusing, and they are really understanding that this is an extremely important chance for them. Both of these players, as I said, deserve a spot in the main event, but only one of them can qualify today. So we are going to have a Khmer gone for DauT and Byzantines gone for Dogao. And we're actually going to go for the first home map of Dogao, which is Habub, Atacama, or Acclivity. Okay. Robo says the game has started, so we will actually jump into the next game already. And we're playing Habub. So Huns versus Britons from DauT. Now that is a massive surprise. The thing is that I feel like you can't play Habub without mobility. And despite the fact that we sometimes see surprising civs winning Habub, I feel like it's still a map where I don't think that was the original plan from DauT. DauT had Magyars available, and I think that was DauT's first pick. I have a strong feeling that... No, wait, that's Dogao. I'm dumb. DauT had Franks as the second pick. So I have a feeling that Franks is what Dogao thought DauT is gonna go for on Habub, and that's reasonable. I guess maybe Dogao wanted to go Magyars because that was his first pick, and you only pick Magyars with your first pick if you want to make sure you have it on your own home map. And then he was like, okay, who sniped first? Oh, it's parallel snipes. But I guess he wasn't sure what DauT is going to snipe, so maybe Dogao was like, okay, I might have my Magyars, but I want to make sure my opponent doesn't have his Franks. It turns out that both players sniped the opponent's civilization for Habub, but the difference is that Dogao has a save that is just as good as Magyars on this map. It is going to be the Huns on the right side for Dogao in yellow. Left side is going to be DauT playing as Britons in red. Britain's lack of mobility is going to hurt them. One of the slowest moving civs. It's a real powerhouse, but it's a slow civ. And Dogao is opening archers as well I'm not sure if you want to go into the Archer War, but I have a feeling that this is probably going to be like a Scout and Skirm play from Dogao. And the other thing that you could do is later on Cav Archers. The Honey Cav Archers, the cheap Honey Cav Archers, could cause an insane headache to Britons because Britons are going to be slow moving. I'm really surprised that Dogao is opening with Archers though, because you would assume that you don't want to play Archer War against Britons. I feel like a straight skirmisher opening with scouts would be nicer. Now, it looks like Dogao is going to prioritize fletching over double bid axe over here, and he's even going to make a defensive tower on the gold mine. I think I like this, better to be safe than sorry. DauT is going to wall off his wood lines. Dogao is not really going to care, and I think that's right. I think that's very, very right from Dogao. He's not going to face scouts over here anytime soon, so archers will shoot over walls anyways. There is no point investing into walling here, which saves him quite a lot of wood over here. Yeah, these are honey houses, by the way. So, Britain's faster working ranges versus Hun's faster working stables. I feel like Dogao is still missing skirmishers from his army though. Here we go. Still, mobility advantage will definitely be on the side of Hun's here, and DauT is also forced to make a defensive tower on his gold mine. It's double range versus range and stable, and DauT goes for a third range. I'm not sure if he can actually afford producing on free ranges with Britons. Like, Briton ranges already work faster, so free ranges feels a little bit ambitious, not gonna lie. That's a villager pick off over there from Dogao. Beautiful find. Gets a nice villager lead over here. Doesn't lose a single unit with that. Very, very nice start for him. And he's getting skirms out on the field. So the problem for DauT with the Britons is that he's got zero mobility. So it's not like he can raid Dogao. He's gonna have a crazy direct push. And that's a bad fight for Dogao, losing all his archers for a price of just one. So it's 4 archers traded for 1. But Dogao will always have the mobility. And what you gain here is that you will force DauT to defend. Either DauT has to make an insane amount of spearmen, or he's gonna have to try and chase your army. And it looks like DauT is gonna start moving forward, but DauT doesn't have a single scout. I don't like the triple range archer play here. Because Dogao can just make skirms, and his skirms will be able to deal with this one no problem. I think DauT needs to mix in at least one stable, so he can deal with a few skirmishers. That's basically the case. Dogao, oh, look at this. He doesn't see these archers passing, and that could actually cause disasters for him. Archers pop out of nowhere, and that's 1 villager killed, 2 villagers killed. This is not supposed to work for DauT, but I guess Dogao misplays it quite hard. And that's minus 3 villagers for Dogao over there. I think there was a vill killed here from DauT as well, so at the end of the day DauT has a 2 villagers lead. But this was jackpot for DauT. A triple range archer play here should not work, and I don't understand why Dogao even went for a single archer. Just go full skirm here. And if DauT doesn't mix in a stable, the skirms will just eat the archers. Anyways, that's a nice fight over there for Dogao. Tries to dive in and snipe the archers, lower the amounts of archers that he's about to face. A lot of spearmen coming in here for DauT. So if you are Dogao, you're just probably trying to focus down spears. Archer is higher priority, but if you're planning to go for more scouts, you pick off the spears. And I think Dogao is planning to switch back into scouts, and this is why he's picking off the spearmen. We'll take a nice little hill advantage here as well. And there will be some more archers and scouts coming up here for him. Second stable on the way for him. DauT, on the other hand, now has a stable going, so he's gonna have scouts out. I feel like I'm starting to like DauT's position a little bit more now. He's got double the army, and the eco is just as good as Dogao's is. So, look at this. Pushing the berries, DauT seems extremely sharp. After the first kind of messy game where he made quite a lot of fuel age mistakes, he feels warmed up, man. He feels warmed up, and he's actually beating Dogao with Britons, and Britons isn't the civ that is supposed to work on this map. I can tell you this much. It's not supposed to work. I don't understand why Dogao even went for a single archer. Like, Scout and Skirm feels way more legitimate to me. The problem is that he opened archers, and it's obvious that Britons are going to beat you in an archer race, instead of going for immediate skirms, where you would have a chance to have an advantage over your opponent at the beginning. Now DauT is gonna mix in some scouts and things are gonna be way worse. And yeah, honestly, as you were saying on the chat, DauT not being warmed up for game number 1 feels like a very, very legitimate scenario now. And Dogao is dead. Like, the thing is that Britons is good for this map if you can have like one death ball of archers that pushes through the map and kills villagers. The problem with Britons is that they're slow. They're slow moving, so if you get raided, you're going to die. But guess what? He's not getting raided. Now, the thing is that that's a lot of elite skirms and a lot of scouts with bloodlines. And I am not 100% sure if this was worth it for DauT. He's going to pick off some villagers. Now has 7... I mean, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, this army goes down, but it's 10 villagers lead and wheelbarrow for DauT. This is the 4-2 gun scenario for Dogao here. Even if he cleans this army up from DauT, DauT has like a decisive advantage right now. And if DauT just went for his own scouts, he would actually be able to be just as efficient as Dogao is, because Dogao's got a way weaker economy right now. Meanwhile, DauT has a lot of idle time, something that's going to impact his eco a tiny bit over here. His scouts have 0 upgrades, and now he's forced back. Remember, this is exactly what Dogao should have gone in the first place. Scouts and elite skirms, and maybe this game is not over yet completely. If DauT gets into Castle Age here and gets crossbows before Dogao could do damage, it's game over. But right now, it's not like DauT has anything that can deal with the army of Dogao here. Elite skirms eating up the archers, that's actually a bad fight. But the problem here for DauT is that he isn't really able to easily kill those scouts. There is nothing that he has against the scouts. And the Hunnic scouts are just much, much better than the Briton scouts here. And that's a scary force of feudal units over here. Dogao is behind by 9 villagers. And wheelbarrow. But the thing is that he might not be completely dead, because that's a lot of bloodline scouts. And oftentimes you see that this many scouts with bloodlines can just snowball a game so easily, because they can get a good surround on the archers. Obviously Dogao doesn't want to take fights here. Like, you see that he wants to kill villagers and not take fights, but it might not be over yet. And this is the problem with Britons, one of the problems with Britons. Britons are slow and one-dimensional. They are so much reliant on the archers, whereas civs like Huns, civs like Magyars are capable of going archers, capable of going scouts, and this is not a good fight for DauT. This is not a good fight by any means for DauT. Dogao is going to disengage, but that's a lot of idle time on DauT's space. DauT is clicking up to Castle Age at the same time as Dogao, and I think that's a win for Dogao. Because Dogao's knights individually will actually be much better than the archers. He can also go elite skirm. The question is, can DauT keep his army alive? If DauT loses this army before getting into Castle Age, then this is over for him. But it seems like he's gonna be able to preserve it, which means that Dogao should prioritize elite skirm here. Elite skirm alongside knights is gonna be a huge thing here for Dogao. And remember, he still has the mobility advantage. It's not impossible we're going to see cav archers in the future as well, because cav archers would give a much coveted mobility to Dogao and make him able to pick off some villagers on the flanks as well. So Castle Age times are basically identical for both players. DauT is still 5 villagers ahead, but here's the problem. DauT is making scale barding, which is nice. It's a good upgrade, right? However, the Briton cavalry is just going to be much worse than the Hunnic cavalry. The lack of bloodlines is going to show pretty early on. Scouts now jumping on top of the spears. They're trying to use the mobility and outmaneuver DauT here. So that's why you see that Dogao is coming in, trying to poke and probe the left side. Castle Age is in a matter of seconds for both players. And there is a Search stable for Dogao, so probably he's gonna get a lead skirm upgrade, but he wants to play with knights. And knights are just much better at raiding than scouts are. So yes, DauT was able to defend against this one right now with spears. That's going to be no longer possible when knights hit the field. This is not a fight that Dogao can actually... Like, Dogao should have actually took that fight, because he knows that DauT is gonna have crossbows pretty soon. And I think that the key and the plan here for Dogao now is that he wants to just raid his opponent into death. And it's triple stable with Huns. So the production speed on this is crazy. I feel like what DauT needs to do is just start moving up the middle with the crossbows. Because he needs to start killing villagers from Dogao. He can't just try and chase down the knights because he will never be able to chase down the knights. That's the problem for him. And even though he could actually stop the scouts with the spearmen, that's going to be no longer possible with knights hitting the field, and that's a lot of knights. I feel like the mobility advantage is soon going to show, and Dogao is going to be able to defend with the siege workshop. And Dogao getting his villager count back on track. Game is evening out. And as I said, it's mobility, mobility, mobility on this map. Honestly, I think DauT performed better with Britons than I actually anticipated him to do. But now you can see why. Fast saves are the key on this map. And the thing is that crossbows can push from this side, but Dogao can run away from this. In the meanwhile, DauT cannot run away from this. That's the problem. So it is idle time versus villagers lost always. If DauT wants to do damage, he needs to hit the wood line. But that's quite a lot of knights coming in, +1, +2, and they could get good surround as well. Mangan was on the way as well for Dogao. Villager count 9 in the favor of Dogao, and I feel like you see why. Cavalry civs are just so essential here, and Huns might be just as good as Magyars here, if not better. And if that army goes down from DauT, he's pretty much dead. Dogao trying to take the hill over here. Mangonel is on the way. It's one good mango shot from Dogao, and it's over, by the way. He already has the will lead. DauT has 2 villagers on food, which makes things even worse. He's microing his archers, so he can't pay attention to his TC. He has 1 on food, which means TC is gonna be idle for quite a while. He keeps this army alive though, and that's pretty important, and it's 36 to 11 military. So theoretically DauT can still punish Dogao over here. The problem is that DauT, as I said, his eco wasn't perfect. He's got University for fast ballistics, or they got ballistics in as well, gets some villager picks. Dogao just trying to mass the knights over here, but his food eco isn't amazing because part of it is being denied by the crossbows. And as I said, Britons on this map is all about one big blob of archers heading to the opponent's eco. So DauT is doing the right thing now. He's sending his crossbows to try and get damage done directly on the opponent and force Dogao to defend. Now, I'm not sure if Dogao is gonna have enough knights to fight this one here, which is a dream for DauT. This is a dream for DauT over here, because I think indeed those knights aren't sufficient, and the wood line of Dogao could get pushed pretty hard over here. He's trying to get some more knights out on the field, but that blob of crossbows is getting scarier and scarier, and if you take a look at DauT's base, he's already assembling the next one. Dogao isn't able to raid, because DauT is forcing him to defend. Like, this is not supposed to be working, but DauT is doing what it is needed to make it work. So the only way Britons versus cavalry civ like Huns works in this matchup is exactly like this. Keep pushing and force the cavalry player to defend, because in direct engagements your army is better, in raiding the opponent's army is better. So you want to force direct engagements like this one over here, and look at that. By the time the cleanup has happened, the new crossbows are here, and Dogao is on 6 farms. 6 farms for 3 stables. That's not gonna crack it. That's not gonna crack it over there, and it's 53 to 42 villagers. DauT is making Britons work on Haboob. This is actually one of the bigger surprises to me. I mean, I understand if DauT can beat Dogao, it's just a matter of Britons aren't supposed to work here. I feel like, it's hard to say. I feel like Dogao should have committed to taking fights against those archers in Feudal. He had Bloodline scouts and elite skirms, and his scouts are useless in Castle Age, whereas the opponent's archers are very useful in Castle Age. So I feel like he could have actually... In fact, he should have actually fought that fight, now that I think about that. DauT takes game number 1, 2 in a row for him. So if you think back, you have skirmishers and scouts. The scouts will be useless in Castle. They would actually be an insanely good meat shield in front of the skirms to kill archers. The reason why DauT had so many archers here is because Dogao never actually attacked them in Feudal. It might not have been the best and most cost-efficient fight for Dogao. But what was the use of the scouts in Castle Age anyways? He could have easily traded those scouts and skirms in Feudal to some archers from DauT, so DauT is on lower archer numbers. The key here is what I'm going to show in the stat screen in a moment. Key here is this. DauT never actually lost army numbers in feudal age. And this is not what is supposed to happen when you're playing scouts and skirms against Britons. You're trying to force DauT to fight, raid, and when DauT is coming with the archers, you have to commit to the fight and make sure he doesn't have good archer numbers. What should have happened is that the scout numbers of Dogao and the skirmishers in feudal should have actually took a fight here, dropped out down to this military count. Over here, let's say, like half of the original value. And then the knights have a much better time because they don't have to face that many crossbows. The problem is that if the crossbows cross that critical threshold of like Surrey, they will just one-shot knights easily and they will just hit run, hit run, hit run. And that's exactly what happened here. They don't even need Surrey, but Surrey is more than satisfactory for that. DauT taking 2 in a row, and yeah, it seemed like in game number 1, he wasn't, actually, why is my scoreboard bad here? Whoops, sorry. Fix it. So, game number 3, also in the hands of DauT. He's still 2 games away from winning this series, but he's looking promising in the last 2 games. My prediction for the series, by the way, was 4-2 for Dogao. But DauT is a pleasant surprise to watch. He's playing really well. After the first disaster game, he's playing really, really well. And he's committed to getting into the main event once again. Dogao has Atacama and Acclivity left as his home maps. And it looks like we already have the next game starting over here. So I think Robo tells the players to hurry up a tiny bit because we are already 6 hours into Red Bull today, even though 2 hours of that was the round of 16s left over from tomorrow. But it's already 4 hours and we are just halfway into the second series. 2 more is still coming today. So because of that, I feel like Robo is probably making the players hurry a little bit, which leaves us little time to talk in between games, but I don't think that you actually mind it. Especially for those who are watching on YouTube, they don't have to skip forward. And we are going to Atacama, a very, very open and aggressive map over here. DauT is going to play Malians, interestingly, on the left. And Slavs for Dogao in yellow. Now, Malians have a little bit more versatility, but it's going to be a scout war in most cases. Once again, just like Habub, this is a super open map, so it's raiding heavy. There are some ponds in the corners with some fish, but no one is actually gonna care about that, or will they? Remember that? Oh, that's the Malians pick. I was thinking about this. So, I'm gonna tell you a story here, before fights actually start the game. For Red Bull Wololo 2, I actually talked through the map with Nikov. And on Kawasan, he actually said something very, very interesting to me. That Malians is one of the best Kawasan civs. Why? Because you can afford to go for a dock and a military building immediately. Because the buildings are cheaper. That's basically the only civ that you can do that with. That's going to be a beautiful find for DauT as well on Dogao's villager. That's that villager. So, same reason here. You pick Malians so you can make a stable and make scouts immediately, but also go for the pond. This is genius from DauT. Like, it might be DauT inventing this, maybe he got some help from Taro. I know that, as far as I know, the Gamer Legion team does have a strategy discussion on their Discord. I think there was like some trash talk between the GL players that, oh yeah, you're not checking the strategy Discord sometime. And it might have been something like, this is very, very Tato-esque. So it might not have been DauT who invented this, but he's doing it right, with the exception of the fact that he just lost a villager to the scouts opening of his opponent. Dogao actually played this one smart. He looped all the way around, and I think DauT anticipated the attack coming from this direction, but it's actually coming from this side. But that doesn't change the fact that DauT right now has double bit axe and 3 villagers lead. That's huge. This is a super smart play from DauT, and I'm pretty sure that it is partially masterminded by other GL members as well, but DauT is actually executing this perfectly, and this is a very, very good strategy right now for DauT. It's working perfectly, because Dogao probably doesn't even know that his opponent is in the corner, and that's what is really scary. For Dogao, Spearman gets picked off though, and DauT is gonna have to run for his life. Remember, Dogao picked this one because he really wants to be aggressive, and that's a fast forging as well. Dogao is flooding scouts here, whereas it looks like DauT is idling that stable for quite a while. He could actually afford more scouts, so it's probably just the APM that's lacking here to get more scouts on the field, but he has to be careful because Dogao is massing a lot of scouts here with upgrades coming in as well. Still, that doesn't change the fact that now it's 5 villagers lead for DauT. He's also getting nice little shore fishing over here. It's not a huge amount of fish in here, but that's going to be able to swing the battle in your favor a tiny bit. DauT not really doing a great job protecting the villagers though. That's definitely something to talk about. It is full scout wars. Dogao could pull some spearmen to start deciding engagements over here. Same thing that DauT could do. DauT has 2 villagers over here, and really, DauT is having a very hard time protecting his villas here. Despite the fact that he's playing with a genius strategy, he's having a really rough time protecting those villas. Like, he's losing villager after villager after villager, partially because his scout numbers aren't there. Like, he's just getting outnumbered pretty hard over here. Another villager goes down, and as funny as it sounds, I feel like Dogao thinks that, okay, I'm winning this easy peasy. I killed like 10 villas from him. And reality is that DauT's eco is much better than Dogao's eco right now, and that's crazy. DauT's eco is much better than Dogao's eco, despite the fact that he lost like 8 villagers, and really, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 0 performance from DauT protecting his villas. If he didn't have the corners for fish, this would be GG already. Like, DauT is doing an awful job protecting those villas. That being said, the fishing eco might still save the day for him, but now it's even villagers, so he's not getting all the advantage that he wants to from that, that's for sure, and he's getting punished pretty hard over here by what is, by the way, double stable scouts now. But it doesn't really matter because DauT had a lot of idle time on the first stable in the first place. Still, his eco is actually better than Dogao's eco, and now Dogao lost quite a lot of scouts, so it is DauT's chance to maybe do some damage to the opponent's eco over here. And as I said, this fish boom is untouched. So many people are ignoring the corners because it kind of feels like you just want to fight in the middle. You have to fight in the middle, so you can't afford to go to fish, with the exception of Malians. The only civ that might be capable of doing what DauT is doing right now is Malians, because they can afford to go for the dock and the stable at the same time, and that is a huge advantage for DauT. There is no bloodlines on his scouts, and he is not getting that upgrade anytime soon either. That scout from Dogao is gonna get wasted though. And is DauT... It looks like Dogao is planning to go castle now. So DauT is gonna have to play this one smart, because it is starting to look obvious that Dogao is gonna go castle age here, voling up like a madman. There is still quite a lot of scouts here with bloodlines for Dogao. There is bloodlines coming in for DauT as well. The tricky thing is that DauT can catch up quite easily in terms of food count because he has a so huge fishing eco. So it's not impossible that DauT is not gonna be that much behind in castle age time, but he will definitely have a deficit going into castle age here. One villager gets picked off, nice find over there from DauT. Only 4 villagers lead though for him. So despite all the fishing eco in the north, he lost so much that it's only 4 villagers lead, and Dogao, however, starts investing into more scouts. So he thinks that, okay, feudal age isn't over yet, I'm gonna have to go for some more. Second barracks in the third stable coming in for DauT. Not 100% convinced that he can actually afford to produce on all of those, but we'll see. 49, and DauT is now docking the other pond as well. He's gonna have an uncontested fish boom, and the beautiful thing about that fish boom is it's something that it can't even be raided, so it really helps immensely for DauT that he's got like a super safe food eco. Obviously, on the other hand, Dogao has the Slavic food eco, so that I think a little bit compensates for it, and that's a huge force of scouts that will probably hit the left side of DauT's base pretty soon. DauT realizes what's going on. He went for Town Watch quite early on, so he knows what's happening around his base. He's got the forging upgrade as well for the Spearman. Not the greatest of all fights for DauT. In fact, it's a pretty bad fight at the end of the day for DauT. He's got some scouts over here that could be really useful at trying to help. He needs to... Yeah, some of those farms could actually get sniped. One villager goes down from DauT once again, so really, it's Dogao playing much better than DauT in this one, but DauT has a strategy that's much better than Dogao's strat. That's basically the case. Execution, 10 times better for Dogao. strategy 10 times better for DauT. Once again, Dogao is suffering from a massively unbalanced eco. He's got 17 on gold and floating 600 gold. DauT is in the left leg, that's correct, but that doesn't change the fact that he's far away from Castle Age. And yes, he has fishing eco, but if you would look at the overall villager count, it's even because Dogao isn't losing villagers and DauT is. And that's a problem. That's a problem for DauT here, that he isn't able to grab an eco advantage because his villagers are getting killed. And this is the reason why I feel like Khmer on this map can be very useful for many players. Because with Khmer you can jump into houses, you could save a lot of villagers. DauT decided that, okay, I can protect my villas on this map and I have my strategy with Malians. It's fine, but this is the reason why I always feel like I think that Khmer might be the best civ for this one. What do Malians do long term against Slavs? Not really much, but I don't think this is one of those maps where the long term is really something that you wanna talk about. Here comes a tower rush, and remember, the wood income for Dogao is over here. The problem is that I think that this is kind of an all-in here for DauT, because he's not actually... Actually, he could click up to Castle Age pretty soon, but the problem is that a map like Atacama, whoever gets to Knights first, almost guaranteed to win the game. And Dogao is gonna have Knights. So this is the problem. Dogao is going to have Knights. It's not like he can be denied away from gold. He has insane resources right now in the bank. It's easy triple stable Knights for him with +2 defense first, but he's gonna get +2 attack pretty soon as well. DauT needs to start clicking up himself and then go for camos. And he needs to hope that the spearmen save him for some time. Really needs to hope that the spearmen save him. I'm not 100% sure that they will though. By the way, this is actually logged in here, so that's not a rating potential for DauT. DauT has 58 wheels compared to 50, but he's still not up to Castle Age. And is that multiple fishing ships taking food from a fish trap? That's not gonna work. Only one of them takes food from a fish trap. And here come the Knights. That's the problem for DauT. That's the real problem. So, yeah, I think that at this point DauT is doing the right thing. He's towering the wood line of Dogao, and that forces Dogao to fight here. Which is probably the right scenario. Scouts coming in here, hitting the wood line. This could be perfect. This could be so perfect. I mean, DauT is gonna lose 3 villas here or 4. These villagers are destined to die. However, if Dogao can compensate by killing a few villagers over here, everything is fine for him, because he just needs to delay Dogao until he gets into Castle Age himself. Because when he gets into Castle Age, he wants to go for camos. And honestly, Dogao is losing villas now. And the key is that DauT might be losing his scouts here. DauT might be losing a few forward villas, but he's not getting his eco pushed. So now DauT just needs to pull the spearman back to the tower, and I think Dogao now realizes, okay, I have to start pushing my opponent's eco with my knights, but it might be just too late here. It might just be too late, because now DauT is up to castle. He can make a few camos and clean this one up, and in the meanwhile, right now there is no wood income for Dogao. Without wood, you're not seeding new farms, and without new farms, you're not gonna spam those knights forever. So, yes, DauT is going to take some beating to his farming eco, but I mean, the farming eco is probably the least vulnerable part of his eco right now. Like, he doesn't really care about losing 2 or 3 farmers as much as he does about losing villagers on gold or wood, because he has fishing ships in the corners. Something I don't think Dogao knows about. He's waiting for a pikeman upgrade, now turns back. It's still a fight that he doesn't want to take. Waits for the camels because of the numbers, but it's camel and pike right now, something that DauT could ride to victory. It's a 6 villagers lead right now for him, but he doesn't seem to have the numbers just yet. It's still quite a lot of units coming out here for him soon, +2 attack is there as well. And the fishing eco is going to start kicking in the corners as well. A lot of idols for DauT inside this tower mostly. And we have another good fight over here for Dogao in terms of villager kills. He killed like 2 or 3 villas. Not so good in terms of losing all the archer or all the knight numbers. Dogao is doing an excellent job killing DauT's villagers, and DauT is doing an awful job protecting them. Like, he's getting flat out massacred, and that's something that DauT is gonna have to fix for future rounds, because this is working because Dogao doesn't know about the fish in the corners. I don't think that he knows about it. But the thing is that after Dogao sees this recorded game and after other players see this recorded game, they will be like, okay, so opponent can have fish in the corner, especially if opponent is Malians. So it's not going to be that straightforward anymore that your opponent doesn't have fish, and DauT without fish would be dead. DauT right now has the same amount of villagers as Dogao, but DauT also has 13 fishing ships, so DauT only has 40 villagers on land. Which means that he lost, as you see, he lost 25 villagers, compared to 9 he killed. How early did he dock? Krazim, that's a good question. Dock came in super early. It actually came up in the first moment, right after the stable, but that's only doable with Malians. That's a Malian trick for hybrid maps. So, just like Kawasan, Malians is one of those civs where you can do a feudal push on land and go for a dock immediately as well. It's a great idea. It's a genius idea. I'm just saying that the problem for DauT is that his execution in this game wasn't that great, because Dogao was kind of smashing him on land in terms of villagers. But good news for DauT. He forced away Dogao from the middle. And this means that Dogao is forced to take these awful small wood lines over here, making that wood eco pretty bad. And with the wood eco being pretty bad, the farming eco is also going to partially suffer from Dogao. Now, Knights hitting that gold mine, that would be a jackpot for Dogao. Once again, every time DauT kills a villager, he loses like 3 to that. Really, I'm trying not to be mean here, but he's just awful protecting his vills. Like, to a point where if Dogao knew that there is fish in the corner and would try attacking that somehow, like trying to get a dock up and go for fire galleys, DauT would be dead by now. So, this map, if DauT cannot improve the way he is protecting his vills all the way around his base, this is something that actually justifies a ban later on for DauT, because he's getting absolutely raided to death. The only reason why he's alive is because he has an untouched fishing eco in the corners. Next wave of Knights coming in here. Why are you running, DauT? You're kind of forced to take that fight. You need the camels over here. That being said, Dogao's eco isn't great either. In fact, that's just as messy as DauT's eco is. DauT has 1 villager on gold, only camels randomly chilling around over there. Yeah, Dogao must be so confused. I can understand if Dogao is like, how is this guy... Like, DauT even has a 1000 score lead. Dogao is probably like, there is no way. Dogao killed 30 villagers from DauT, barely lost any. And he's like, my opponent is 1000 score behind, and he's actually still pumping out military, so it's not... It's actually legitimate score. I really wonder when Dogao is going to notice that his opponent is on fish. Because now it seems like Dogao is running out of juice faster than DauT does. The fishing eco here in the corner is like damn efficient. Like, this is super fast with gill nets. Those fish traps, they work perfectly. And it looks like a defensive tower is up for Dogao, so he's gonna try getting that wood line back for himself. I wonder if DauT is gonna make a siege workshop over here. I think, honestly, if you're DauT, you probably want to do some walls here to the corner. If you actually have that pond, just do walls to the corner. Because you want to make sure you don't get raided that hard. Because it's hard to believe that the villager count is still even, but DauT is technically supposed to have a 30 villagers lead right now. Because he's got all the fish in the corner, and it's somewhat surprising and somewhat scary for DauT that he only has even villager count compared to his opponent, when he obviously has a lot of fishing eco working for him. On the other hand, it's also scary for Dogao that, well, he taps out. It's understandable. He doesn't have anything to defend against those camels, and his food eco would be idle. So this is all about your food eco would be idle, and I can see what's going on in Dogao's head right now. Dogao is like, how did I lose when I killed a lot more villagers? And when he sees the map revealed, he is like, fish boom. Oh man, I can see the face palm from Dogao here. I don't think he expected this, and very, very few people know this little Empire Wars trick on hybrid maps. That basically the other civs aren't able to afford the stable or archer range and the dock at the same time. Malians can. And yeah, this is a total moral sharing loss for Dogao, because DauT played bad in this game. Not gonna lie, DauT played bad. he lost 32 villagers compared to 13. But his strategy was so good that it compensated for all the massive mistakes he made. DauT got massively outplayed by Dogao here. But that doesn't change the fact that DauT's genius strategy still carried him to victory. And this is a moral shattering defeat indeed for Dogao, because he obviously outplayed DauT by a massive margin. It wasn't even close. If it wasn't for the fishing eco in the corners for DauT, DauT would have been out of this game after 5 minutes. He just lost all his villagers. But it's still, like, look at this. All DauT was able to accomplish is have the same eco as Dogao. In fact, gold was actually lower, but wood was more. So it basically was same eco, despite the fact that it could have been a lot more. It should have been a lot more. It's 60 wheels against 60 wheels. These drops, not these, because this is drops at Dogao's base, but these drops and little spikes like this, 2 villagers killed here, 3 villagers-ish killed over here. These drops in the villager count of DauT is not something that should have happened. But still, he had a strategy, it worked out, and he's in match point. So he's gonna have to look back at this game and say, okay, I didn't play perfect, in fact I played quite bad. The problem with this for DauT right now is that this was a one-time opportunity to do this trick. This was really a one-time opportunity for this trick. So the thing is that everyone has seen this now. You can't use it elsewhere. But this also shows how seriously DauT is taking this qualifier. He knows exactly that if he loses here, he might not qualify because next week is going to be a lot harder. So he's like, okay, I'm going to use one of my strategies that are actually an excellent strategy, and something that you would prefer to save for a main event when you're actually fighting for a lot of prize money here, because he wants to make sure that he gets into the main event. So using up a very, very good strategy, this is really one of those strategies where you can only use once. So everyone has seen this now on the internet, so no one actually will be able to do that sneakily anymore. So every time you see Malians in a draft and Atacama as a home map, you're going to see something like this. Malians is a win for DauT, and so is Britons. Slavs are gone, and Byzantines are gone as well for Dogao, just as well as Huns. So what we're left with for what is the final home map of Dogao, Acclivity. I feel like Acclivity is probably a Tatars map, and this might be the place where you can think about Turks for DauT. Saracens and Aztecs are still there for DauT, and that's the other scary part. Like, look at Dogao's civs. Teutons, Bulgarians, Tatars, Berbers. Decent, but not amazing. Saracens, Aztecs, Ethiopians, all 3 of them are beastly Empire War civs, and they even have Turks available, which has some upside. So we have game number 5 coming in here. DauT versus Dogao. The map is Acclivity. And it seems like I'll have to restart my game because DE fails to cooperate. So I guess we're gonna have to wait a little bit. They still have 2 minutes of spectator delay, so there is nothing to be nervous about. We will get there on start. So Acclivity, I have a feeling it's gonna be Tatars against, could be Turks, but this is the one where DauT could actually bring in his Saracens and go for a surprising strat. And Saracens on Acclivity can actually be a very punishing civ, because the players are relatively close and getting through the walls is actually huge. So it's a very, very vulnerable map, but you have to rely on your walls pretty heavily. So Saracens is a reasonable idea for Acclivity. Ethiopians, potentially. Aztecs could be a good idea as well. If DauT feels like Dogao is going to go for Tatars, Aztecs is a reasonable choice as well. And go for like a triple Barak Seagull play in Castle Age. So, would it be possible for you to edit the schedule pick to include results of the finished series? It could. However, the reason why I'm not doing this is because I will probably upload this to YouTube, and in case someone is watching in different order, I don't want to spoil things. If you actually use the exclamation mark brackets, though, the brackets will have the updated results as well as Liquipedia. So in case you're interested in the results, Liquipedia is actually, it's basically updated every game, so you can even see the current score of the tournament going on. But either exclamation mark brackets or just Liquipedia on even Liquipedia main page is going to help you out with that. I'm just trying not to spoil. This is why I'm always kind of refraining from saying anything specific about the previous sets and what happened there, because there's a chance someone else watches in different order. I will upload them to YouTube in the order they actually happened, but there might be people that find it at different times, and hello game. Okay, Capture Age is back as well, or at least the Capture Age overlay. And here we go. Aztecs for DauT in red, and I think that's a counter pick to Tatars here. I think that Tatars was something that DauT predicted. Tatars is a nice pick over here for Dogao, but you have to be able to use the hills to be efficient. That being said, DauT's berries are pretty awful over here, and DauT is gonna go for defensive spearman, but it's actually a straight archer opening from both sides. If it's straight archer opening, however, I massively favor Aztecs here. And the reason why is because if it's archer versus archer, Aztecs can match that, no problem. But Aztecs have a much easier transition to Ego Warriors than Tatars have to a larger amount of Knights, and that is something that could be a cause of concern for Dogao. Apparently the players are not contesting the outside huntables, and everybody's just gonna go full walls. This is going to be a troublesome position for DauT to be in with those berries, but the rest of his base looks pretty convincing, I would say. Not a fan of this walling here. This Goldmine could be exposed to aggression. But other than that, I think he is going to be fine. Dogao's going for a little bit greedier walls. This could backfire for him if DauT would have been playing a little bit more aggressively. And let's see if DauT is making Eagles. Yes, DauT is making Eagles, so it's Archer and Eagle play. I think that's what you have to do if you are playing Meso Civ. So you can't just play straight Archer. Archer Eagle is going to be much, much better than the opponent's Archer player. And that's why this should be an advantage for DauT. Now the tricky thing is that he's gonna have to hold this ridge, but with his own archers and his Eagle, he should be able to do that no trouble. Dogao, no, this is the Spearman, as Dogao tries to take the hill for himself, but right now they're fighting on even ground, and that is actually something that is completely fine for DauT, even though nice micro from Dogao picking off the Spearman, and it looks like DauT is gonna lose the hill. He's running away, but I'm not sure if this is the right decision to make here. It's a tricky one. That being said, there is Eagles on the way. And let's see if DauT gets +1 defense for those Eagles fast. Dogao already has +1/+1 on his archers. DauT only +1 attack. And DauT getting some more archers out over here. Match point for DauT, so Dogao must win this one. This is his third home map, and he lost all of his home maps. Dogao lost all the 2 home maps that he has played. Anyways, eventually DauT is gonna get pushed off from the berries. It's not really a big deal, and I feel like if DauT is just able to survive right now in H2 with some skirmishers supporting, he's gonna be perfectly fine in castle. He's getting the Eagle numbers up high, and he wants to take one decisive engagement. And the skirms here, they are perfectly fine for DauT. He just needs to hold this wall with the skirmishers, and it's not like Dogao can do much right now. Dogao's eco, however, looking a lot better. Remember that the extra sheep that he starts with actually helps immensely, plus the sheep also last longer, so you don't have to do that many farms. You can actually add a little bit more villagers on food without running out of sheep fast. On the other hand, DauT's eco is pretty unbalanced, I would say. He could buy himself up to castle pretty soon, but that doesn't change the fact that Dogao is going to beat him quite hard into Castle Age here. Like, Dogao is about to click up, and he's gonna have crossbows with Tumbling. Let's see if Dogao can actually get a villager kill. Not really. But there's a villager dead somehow. I don't know how this villager died. There was no one here, apparently. So right now, 2 villagers lead for Dogao, and he's got a nice head start going into Castle Age. DauT will buy a little bit more food, even selling his wood, I believe, to click up. And just buy food. DauT? Why is he not buying food? Okay, now he did it. So, he's going up to Castle Age, and this is where he's gonna have to make the ego transition. Let's see if Dogao is going to do anything to react to that. No, and he's making more archers. So it's not going to be an immediate switch into Cav Archers. I believe that Dogao eventually will try going for Cav Archers, because mobility and raiding potential on this map is actually huge. But as long as he's staying on archers and crossbows, Eagle Warriors could cause a lot of headache to him. That being said, DauT did a nice job already getting quite decent amount of Eagles out there and not losing them. Let's see if it's double or triple barracks Eagles. It's a little bit low on wood for triple barracks, but you ideally want to play this one with triple. This could be a fight that DauT takes, but yeah, I think it's better to just use the Eagles in Castle Age, because it's much easier to replenish an Eagle Warrior in Castle Age than it is to do it in Feudal Age, so it makes a lot of sense to just try to play defensive here, and making sure that you keep your Eagle numbers up high, use your skirmishers to tank the arrow fire, as Dogao is almost up, and he's going to take this ridge here, patrol until he gets the crossbow upgrade, and he's gonna try to make a push when his opponent is still without his Eagle Warriors. That's a bad decision from DauT, I believe. He's gonna have the mobility advantage, but I feel like his berry villagers could be exposed. There's the third barracks coming in, and Dogao is gonna try to run straight in. So you have to house here, delete farm, house, and just buy yourself some time if you're DauT. That being said, if you buy yourself some time here, the Eagle Warriors will smash everything that Dogao has over here, so it's not like you can easily stop this one. Fast ballistics for Dogao. He wants to win this game very fast here. But Eagle Warriors almost in, Squires is almost in, and is DauT going to try and counterattack with the Eagles? It seems like it. So he wants to counterattack and then make Eagles back at home to battle this force. And this is going to be a little bit problematic for Dogao. Dogao doesn't have a huge amount of mobility on this one. Siege Workshop comes in here for DauT to defend. And Dogao... Oh no, Dogao. That feels bad. And Dogao killed 1 or 2 wills from DauT. But this is a lot more devastating than what Dogao will ever do to DauT in this game, I believe. That's already quite a lot of villagers killed. And these Eagles can just start running around and rampaging the eco of their opponent. And look at that, the next wave of Eagles is already getting ready over here. Dogao's eco is collapsing. He's got 0 on gold, 23 on wood, 1 on food. And he's gonna try to leave now. I think he's gonna get trapped. But honestly, this was totally worth it for DauT. He killed so many villagers, and look at the amount of crossbows he's also killing. 3 villagers advantage now, and his eagles will just be better and better than the crossbows. So this is perfect value here for DauT. And it might seem like I predicted 4-1 for Dogao, but it looks like DauT is playing insanely good, and DauT has been playing insanely good in recent tournaments, if you remember that. Like, KOTD, he had a pretty good performance as well. Surprised a lot of people. Didn't play in 2v2 World Cup. But in recent memory, DauT has been practicing a lot for tournaments, and it really starts to show, I feel like. Like, DauT might be playing some of the best games of his career, which is hard to say because, you know, he had a huge career and a long career, but based on the competition and how good he's able to perform against them, he's actually playing really well. He might be forced to engage this one because the crossbows are trying to hit the gold mine. DauT has to run away, not lose a single villager. Another mangonel comes in. This army might get sandwiched in between here. They will be forced to fight because of the eagles, and there's like 3 mangonels trying to chase them down. Oh, look at that dance. Right now, DauT is just trying to trap that army over there. I like that there are some Eagles coming in here that are trying to intercept some reinforcements. And it looks like Dogao is just gonna disengage, but that could allow DauT to just send forward his Eagles and finish off these crossbows over here. Mangonels firing up heals. Tatar heal bonus is nice, but it's not going to help you beat Mangonels with crossbows. Yeah, I think that the civs are much better for DauT. I totally agree with that one, but that is because DauT drafted the way he drafted, right? Now that being said, that's a disaster for DauT. Say goodbye to what's gonna be quite a lot of crossbows from Dogao. Is DauT gonna land another shot? Nope. But that's at least 10 crossbows. So I guess not as bad for DauT as it could have been. 4 Voyagers lost, and the Voyager count now for Dogao is better. Dogao is on 2 TCs, DauT is playing on 1 only. However, DauT lost a huge amount of army, and things could still get snowballed pretty hard over here. He's laming Huntables for whatever reason. Might have been just a misclick, and this is the problem for Dogao now. This army is gonna get cleaned up, and suddenly the army numbers will look much, much better for DauT. And until Dogao has his army alive, like the crossbows, this is fine. But when that disappears, suddenly DauT is gonna have a huge advantage. Look at this. 2 Mangonels, a bunch of Eagles. Yes, DauT is 8 Villagers behind. But... and he also doesn't have Boso, by the way. So, really his eco isn't shining. However, the Eagles aren't necessarily that expensive. It looks like Dogao is gonna start making knights, but look at those knights. Not a single upgrade, and that's what I was referencing to. It's much easier to make a transition from the archers of the Aztecs to the Eagle Warriors of the Aztecs than it is to transition from the Tatar archers to the Knights of the Tatars. Meanwhile, DauT is somewhat hesitant to engage, which I do not like, to be honest, because if you're playing this strategy, this triple Barracks Eagles, you have to be aggressive with it. You can't just sit back and chill, missing the ground attack, and Dogao is gonna sandwich 2 Mangonels in between 2 Knights. That's a very, very nice find, but DauT gets a perfect ground attack in, so I guess value was there, and that's still a lot of Eagles to deal with, and if those Eagles run to the wood line, I mean, Dogao is gonna be in trouble. That's a nice little choke point for him to fight in. Not the best fight ever for DauT, and he might even disengage from this one. Is he? Yeah, he's gonna disengage. But DauT has to be a little bit more aggressive over here, who is now playing on 2 TCs as well. 3 TCs now for Dogao, so Dogao is getting the long-term advantage here in this one, but DauT should have the early compositional advantage in terms of units. There is some more knights coming in from Dogao. This could be scary though, there is a Mangonel as well. DauT? That's a massive miss micro, leaving that Mangonel alone, but I guess he's just trying to push this part of Dogao's base. There is a random Eagle running around. I would love to see some Eagles being placed in here, just to make sure that, you know, when Dogao gets out there, villagers will be killed, or Dogao is unable to get out there easily. So it looks like DauT is going to try to bash his way into Dogao's base. Dogao is going to have to run for safe wood. And it looks like we are going to switch into Champion, or at least Longswords right now, from Dogao. This is an interesting decision. The problem with the Longswords is that they're still slow compared to the Eagles. And you also have to take into account the fact that Aztecs can also go for their own Longswords and be better with that. Like, Tatar Longswords are awful. Tatar Longswords don't even have +2 defense, because Tatar Infantry is missing the +2 defense upgrade, one of the worst infantry upgrades on the units. AoE India, thanks for the raid. Welcome everybody. From your stream, Mangonel! Dogao eats a huge shot. And it looks like, is DauT intentionally trying to destroy the market, or was that just a side effect of his play over there? Dogao trying to raid with some knights, but it's 0 upgrades in these guys, so if DauT jumps into the TC, which is something that he's not doing right now, these knights should die pretty easily. And it looks like DauT just wants to get through this base over here, and he could actually hit Dogao's gold mine over here, Mangonel. Let's see if it actually gets a shot out. And this is the problem for Dogao. That many Eagles might actually be able to commit against the town center if they have arson. So Dogao is trying to get longswords out, but longswords don't have a mobility. Aztecs will be just as good with their longswords as Tatars are. In fact, they are going to be way better. And Aztecs could also switch back into Arbs. if it's full longswords. Massive miss micro once again from DauT. 2 Mangonels out in the open, exposed to knights. And once again, I feel like DauT has a bit of a civ advantage over here, which of course is completely his achievement, since, you know, he's the one drafting these civs, and he's just punishing Dogao for not picking Aztecs earlier. So I guess that's perfectly fine for DauT in that aspect, but I don't think that DauT is playing as amazing as he did in game number 2. In game number 2 he played insanely good. Also played really well, I believe, in the Haboob game. Not so much in the rest of the games. Especially the previous one was pretty potato from him. But won because he had a better strategy. Here he also has to rely on having a better strategy, I believe. And that is a nice move from DauT. Takes the Voyager lead, and as I said, mobility, mobility, mobility. Longswords are nice and everything, but how are you gonna deal with those egos just raiding your eco left and right? DauT only on 16 on food, not really a huge amount of wheels, to be honest. That's a little bit low, and it's going to delay him going into Imperial if this game goes Imp. This is an aggressive enough map to have a long Castle Age fight going on in it. But at this pace, we might see Imperial in this game as well. Here comes another raid, and this is the problem of Dogao. It's just speed. As much as on Haboob, DauT won against Dogao, who had mobility with slow units, here it is DauT winning this game with fast units. This is exactly how Haboob should have played out when Dogao played it, with the mobility advantage. Just raid and raid and raid. Because it's much easier to defend against these crossbows than it is to defend against this absolute rampage that these Eagle Warriors are absolutely causing. And there's another wave of Eagle Warriors coming in here very soon over here. I mean, yes, DauT has this hill, nice little hill that you have over there, but does it give you anything over there? Probably not. Whereas for Dogao, half of his eco is idle because there are Eagle Warriors running around and killing villagers left and right. You can dive beneath the TC and finish off these villagers and then disengage. TC is full, so the villagers can't all fit in, so you run in, kill the villagers beneath the TC and then run away. And we're talking about 82 villagers, 64. Dogao isn't playing bad, but DauT is smashing him. And really, credits to DauT for having a very good draft up. Because DauT's draft is helping him just as much as his gameplay. In fact, I would dare to say that DauT is mainly winning by having better strategies than Dogao, and not necessarily by having a better execution. That's an ambitious DauT castle over there, and that's not even going to happen for DauT for the time being. His egos are getting cleaned up and he's down to 20 military. Interesting. I feel like another barracks would have been helpful for now, for him. Because there's still a lot of crossbows to deal with. You will probably try to take the hill if you are DauT as well. And this is the problem for Dogao. He has to run and now he loses the hill advantage with Tatars. And that's gonna be a cleanup. Scorpion is also coming in here to help. And in the meanwhile, longswords are trying to kill these eagles, which is fine, but it's a 20 villagers lead now for DauT, who's getting a castle up in the face of Dogao, which would pretty much cripple the food eco of Dogao over here. And I think that castle goes up. I don't see Dogao stopping that castle over there. I just don't see that. And it looks like DauT is going to qualify in the first qualifiers over here. And honestly, he's playing very convincing. He's got some stuff to clean up, especially like in terms of protecting his villagers. But he is looking convincing. And Dogao has no idea that that castle is going up. DauT, by the way, isn't very far away from Imperial Leader, so that could be an additional effect of this. But look at that. The amount of villagers killed by this castle is just huge as well, and that's like -8 farms over there for Dogao. And this is the moment where I think DauT could just switch back into Arbalest. Because remember, Tatars won't have Arbalest, right? So Tatars have free Tumbling, Aztecs do not have Tumbling. But if DauT is going into Imperial, he could switch back into Arbalest because his opponent does have a lot of longswords. Or he could just keep spamming Eagles if he feels like that wins him the game. More and more longswords coming from Dogao, his tournament life on the line over here. Obviously, if he loses this one, he's gonna have to try and qualify in the next week. But as things stand, He's gonna be competing to qualify next week. He's going to be a top competitor, so probably one of my candidates to qualify. And look at those romantic castles over here, as Memb would say. Castle versus castle. This is not going up from Dogao. He's gonna have to run away from this engagement once again. DauT wants an even more ambitious castle right in the face of Dogao. Imperial Age is coming in as one, and I think at latest this game is going to be called GG when DauT reaches Imperial Age. We also have some gold miners over here for DauT. That's quite a lot of longswords, but guess what? Jaguar warriors are a good idea here for DauT. It is actually pretty much a meme unit, but Jaguar warriors work pretty nicely over here for DauT because they just eat longswords. They just eat longswords. And as I said, I feel like when DauT reaches Imperial, this series is just gonna be over, and DauT is going to advance into the main event. He's got 20 villagers lead, still low on eco upgrades, like no boso, no heavy plow, no handcart. Not ideal, but I mean, we have seen worse. And I think when he has the traps, there is just no potential for Dogao to kill those. He could continue Jaguar Warriors, he could continue Arblasts, and apparently he's dropping Barracks, so it could be his own champion. A little bit sloppy from him, losing some villagers to that castle. I don't think he expected a castle to come up over there. And Dogao is getting Kashyyyks out. So he's gonna try and get some raiding damage done. Kashyyyks are extremely cost efficient, by the way, against Eagles. This is one of the reasons why I feel like DauT now has to switch into Arbalest. Because Kashyyyks are very, very cheap and they actually do a pretty decent job against Eagles. So that could be an answer from Dogao, but it's not going to be. As I said, when DauT reaches Imperial, Dogao is gonna call it. He knows exactly that there's no way he protects the base here, and this is a surprise. It's not a surprise that DauT wins, I believe. DauT is a good enough player that if he plays to his full potential, he can win games, he can win series. What is surprising is that this was this dominant series, and DauT not just defeats Dogao, but defeats Dogao in a 4-1 manner. Congrats to DauT, he is the second player to qualify to the main event of Red Bull Wololo 3. This game was also pretty convincing, and really, I feel like DauT was mainly winning with strategies and not necessarily the execution. I might dare to say that Dogao even had a slightly better execution or gameplay, but DauT's Civ draft and the way DauT used his Civs and the strategies he used won him the game, and this is something I love about Age of Empires. Yes, your opponent was mechanically doing a better job. Like, you saw how Dogao was raiding DauT's eco in the Atacama game, for example, but you had better strategies, and it actually helped you win, and there is nothing to be ashamed of over there. If you feel like you're actually a weaker player in terms of speed, you have to make up for that with strategies, and boy, DauT actually made up for that. And the scary thing is that even if Dogao wins this, let's say, look at what civs Dogao would have had left. Bulgarians, Teutons, Berbers. And DauT still has Saracens and Ethiopians, two beastly Empire War civilizations. So really, this is a massive advantage from the draft here for DauT, which is really just telling you how smart he was drafting and how well prepared he came to this tournament. Congrats to DauT as the second player to qualify to the main event.